Soldier flight. Soldier flight. Welcome everyone to today's adventure into the fascinating world of the black soldier flies. These incredible creatures might be small, but they pack a punch when it comes to their life cycle and impact on our environment. Today, we'll journey through their stages from eggs to prepupae and explore how they can revolutionize waste management and organic farming. First up, we have the adult stage of our black soldier fly. These beauties live for just about 10 days and boy, do they have a busy schedule. They are delicate creatures needing just the right conditions, temperatures of between 25 degrees Celsius to 33 degrees Celsius and no wind during their romantic escapades or else unfertilized egg alert. They love to soak in natural light for their mating rituals and prefer humidity levels of between 50% and 70%. The flies love privacy during their egg laying, and we have developed an attractant case and eggies that consider this important need. Our high-density eggies offer much more creases for egg laying on the sides and ends, and every fly has a private space. Remember folks, if you're housing these precious flies, ensure you create a cozy setup with optimal climate control. That means no treated mosquito nets please, and keep the poultry manure away from their domain. Here's a tip. The fly density is the most critical parameter in egg production. For more eggs, keep your net to a minimum size, or else as the flies reduce, they become too far apart to mate. Number 2, keep changing your net with new prepupae in duck cages for at least every 5 days. To ensure your success on this, we have developed the N80 net, which is our standard for optimal egg production. It takes up to 6 duck cages, 3 fly drinkers or humidifier, 3 attractant casings while letting light to shine in all parts of the net. We have placed a heavy-duty zip on the side that closes downwards and ensures that you do not lose flies during net operations such as egg harvesting. Moving on to the eggs. These little yellow gems are harvested every 3 days and are placed in a hatchery snuggly nest in clean feed substrate. This setup not only keeps them warm but also prevents other flies from crashing their incubation party. In just 5 days, these eggs hatch into young larvae and are ready to take on the world, or at least their next meal. The larva stage, the heart and soul of the soldier fly diverse limited. These burrowing, compost-loving machines spend a solid 17 days munching away on organic waste. They are not picky eaters, gobbling up on proteins, carbohydrates, oils, minerals, vitamins, you name it. Their hard work results in a premium organic fertilizer rich in all the goodies that all your plants crave. Remember, keep their environment cozy, moist substrate, temperatures between 25 degrees Celsius to 35 degrees Celsius, and avoid wet feed unless you want them staging the Great Escape. To also ensure your success on this, we have developed the Shamba 10. This is the ideal space to raise your larvae. It is highly optimized to eliminate your intensive involvement in raising the larvae. All you do is 3 things: feed, watch, and harvest. As long as the contents of the Shamba 10 are less than 2 inches deep, your larvae will thrive and grow. Next in line, we have the prepupae stage. Brownish black and ready to hide from the world, these climbers are in the midst of transformation, gearing up for their next big adventure. In just 9 days, they are prepped and primed to emerge as adults, but not before they find the perfect hiding spot away from food and moisture. As our prepupae waits patiently in the dark cage, it's race against time. We need them to mature just enough before they can move on to the next stage. Here, in pitch darkness and dry environment, they prepare for their final act, emerging as adult flies. Last but not least, our love cage, a place where natural light sets the stage for new beginnings. Here, the temperatures are just right, winds are nowhere to be found, and humidity is at its sweet spot. It's here that our adult black soldier flies come together to mate and continue the new cycle. And there you have it, folks, the incredible journey of the black soldier fly from eggs to adult stage, each phase playing a vital role in transforming waste into wealth. Whether you're into organic farming or just fascinated by the nature's recycling champions, these little heroes deserve our admiration. Remember, understanding their needs and providing the right environment is key to their success and to ours too. Thank you for joining us on this wild ride through the black soldier fly life cycle by Soldier Fly Diverse Limited. Now go forth and spread the buzz about these remarkable insects.
Yes, hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Bwana Oswago.
Okay, can see people are joining and leaving.
Yes.
Maybe probably we begin by introduction. As we wait for, or maybe a word of prayer, then introduction, then we start the meeting.
Okay, then you pray for us, Bwana Oswago.
We are praying. Thank you, Lord, for bringing us this far. We want to start our meeting. May you guide us, dear Lord of mercy, throughout this training, so that when we come out of this training, we come out trained and literate people. In Jesus' name, I pray and believe. Amen. So, for members who have just joined, I would like to bring to your attention that today's training is quite unique. It's co-hosted by the black soldier fly, and Water Integrated Farm Model. So our presentations will be done by the black soldier fly. Then after which we'll have a sort of questions, just as usual, questions and answers. So I don't know, Mr. Brian, how many minutes would you want to do for presentation?
So, okay, my name is Oscar Minde. We are joined with Brian Nyota. Brian Nyota is the CEO of Soldier Fly Diverse Limited.
Okay, yes, thank
so
you.
I'm doing the introductions already. Oscar Minde, I'm responsible for customer success, the company. Me and Brian are co-founders of the company, 2 farms in Vihiga and Kakamega. We're also joined by Vanessa Mhonja, who is our communications director and be responsible for timekeeping. And then Joel is also here. Joel is our production manager here at Kakamega. So we are privileged to be here, and I think we just set the agenda. We were thinking of doing presentation for about 1.5 hours and giving the members 30 minutes to ask questions. We are open to change the schedule so that we can accommodate everyone. Bwana Oswago.
Okay, thank you very much. Members, are we in one accord? Okay, back to you, Mr. Oscar. I think from our side, I haven't seen for joining, but I think we can just begin because it will be recorded for the sense of time, right?
Okay, that's for sure. We are recording this session, and if you give us an email, we'll send it to you, or we also send it on our YouTube channel. For those who are interested, go to visit our channel. We'll give you the details towards the tail end of this meeting. So we present me and Brian. Brian will take care of the plant part. We are going to deal with three protein sources, but 2 are very similar to each other with small changes. That's Azolla and Duckweed. And I'll be touching on black soldier fly. I guess the gist of this meeting is to understand the question why these proteins are these solutions are essential for poultry farmers. The how we can tackle later in other sessions, because if you go to the how, it might take too long. Yet it's more practical than theory that you need. So I'll put up our presentation. Um, and you notice that our main tab there is the title is Kimbiza Kuku Sokoni. Okay, take your chicken faster to the market. Presented by Soldier Fly Diverse Limited. Our details are there. Our vision as Soldier Fly Diverse Limited is to contribute to a protein secure world by leveraging sustainable protein technologies. The problem, rising feed costs. We know that feed costs represent more than 70% of the smallholder farmers' production expenses. We have issued waste on farms and in towns. If someone is keeping about 2,000 birds, then they have to contend with a lot of waste. We're also working with partners, and we deal out with unemployment. So our model with using Soldier Fly Diverse Limited is actually to create jobs outside our operation in Kakamega, Vihiga, but also give young people and farmers a chance to create jobs from changing waste into valuable proteins. Just remember that 75% of the farmers, sorry, 75% of the Kenya GDP depends on us, smallholder farmers. So we form a very important part of the economic setup of Kenya. So we are going to talk about 3 solutions: BSF, Azolla, and Duckweed. They offer an innovative way to upcycle organic waste into high protein and feed an organic manure, creating a circular economy in agriculture. What are some of the challenges that we are facing in these in trying to get these solutions for farmers? Number one, we have high infrastructure costs. You go to somewhere for training and you see a very big greenhouse, and you wonder whether you're able to afford just the greenhouse alone, leave alone the flies. Also, labor intensity, and then technology costs that make BSF technology accessible to smaller farmers and youth. There's a lack of market linkage because sometimes the farmer asks you, okay, if I produce excess, what will I do with it? This lack of market linkage hampers adoption of this powerful technology, especially by the youth and even farmers. Azolla and Duckweed farming has been oversimplified, leading the plants open to effect of weather, stormwater, flooding, and frogs. Thus, any effort by a farmer becomes unreliable because you're advised to put Azolla in a few cut jerry cans, and you find that you cannot have enough feed for your animals. It's largely oversimplified, which is not really productive and good for farmers. So let's look at some numbers. And for BSF, we've tested these numbers. They're not theory. BSF is grown on organic waste. It converts the waste into high protein feed and organic manure. When it's eating the waste, it keeps the nutrients into its body. Okay. Productivity can go to 27 kg per square meter per week on cooked food scraps. They're some of the best waste to feed on BSF, and also avocado waste. Farmers have all tried to do their own mixes like poultry waste and cob flour, which give very good outputs on productivity. The protein in BSF ranges between 40 and 50%. If you dry it and extract the fats, then the proteins go up to 63%. And then it is required a structured way of farming so that you can know which batch you're harvesting for which birds. and not just throwing them in a few pots and thinking that you're through with the issue. Because in the long run, if you're planning to use BSF, then it has to be available for you to use when you need it. Brian, over to you.
Thank you so much, Oscar. Thank you, all farmers who have joined.
Brian, we can't hear.
It's good.
Yes, you are audible, Brian.
It's good.
Continue.
Can hear you.
Okay. So, Azolla is what I would like to take you through, and Azolla and Duckweed are plants. These are aquatic plants. They float on water and they grow on water. The reason why Azolla and Duckweed is here in this conversation is because Azolla and Duckweed are able to accumulate very high levels of protein in their biomass. And here we are talking about up to 25% proteins, and they are very easy to grow. And the productivity of Azolla, for example, is about 2 to 5 kilograms per square meter per week. And this level of harvesting is actually making commercial sense because you can harvest weekly on your Azolla farm. However, Azolla, the level of protein in Azolla is slightly lower than that of BSF. BSF has higher protein levels. However, because it's also easy to grow and it grows fast, you get additional benefits like to the environment. Azolla fixes nitrogen into nitrates. So this way, it makes its own protein, but it also applicable for use if you want to make fertilizer. It will have nitrates also. It's best used as a supplement, especially for layers and broiler, even improved kienyeji chicken. Duckweed, which is more or less like Azolla, in structure, duckweed is much smaller, a much smaller leaf than Azolla. The productivity is almost the same. They both float, but you'd have duckweed having a higher protein content, up to 30% thereabout. And what we have observed is that complementing BSF and Azolla plus duckweed works very well for many farmers, and especially when we are addressing the big problem of high cost of feeds. That's why you see all these solutions coming like together. Yeah. Next slide. So when you are looking at BSF, Azolla, and duckweed, there are a few key differences you need to take note of. Looking at the growth media, as Oscar has mentioned, BSF larvae is produced in organic waste. So the rearing system for BSF and the media is organic waste. For Azolla, you would have it growing in water. It's an aquatic plant. So you need to note that. Also, duckweed is an aquatic plant. So in simple terms, If you want to grow Azolla and Duckweed, you either need to have water, either naturally, or you can do above surface pond, which is a technology that soldier fly divers has developed, and you can easily do your pond and set up your Azolla and Duckweed system in a reliable way. Now, looking at the space, if you're asking yourself, how much space do I need? So for BSF, the system is much more compact, and in other words, you'll need a smaller space. If you're looking at Azolla, the ponds are not so deep, and to make commercial production sense, the ponds for Azolla and Duckweed are usually a little bit bigger. So that gives you a picture of how much space I need to do this. However, the size that we are talking about in Azolla and Duckweed is not also too big, in such a way that you can't compare them to conventional protein sources like growing soya. You'll have to do acres of soya, but you can grow Azolla in a very small space, a very moderate space, and you have yield or harvesting every week. Coming to yield, in BSF Larvae, you can do up to 27 kilos per meter square per week for the larvae. And for Azolla, you'll be doing about 2 to 5 kilos per meter square per week. So you can see the difference in yield. The same goes for duckweed. Now, in feed value, the nutrients that you have in there, you'll find that BSF has very high protein, fat, and calcium, including also vitamins. And in Azolla, you'll have moderate levels of protein and vitamins, and duckweed will be slightly higher than Azolla. And additional benefits, BSF helps us to clean or to recycle manure and make the environment clean. Azolla supports nitrogen fixation and water filtration because it's able to absorb the extra nutrients in water and use them to convert into valuable resources for feeds. And also the growth is much faster. So having understood this, the big question is, how do I produce this and then use them on my farm? Maybe you are asking yourself that. So for BSF, Oscar, would you want to handle BSF?
Okay, let me do that.
Okay.
So, how do I produce BSF? How do you produce BSF and use them on your farm? So, BSF is a core protein source. So, we've developed a system called a max starter kit, which is basically a rearing system. If you want to breeding, then you go further and have not greenhouse structure, but a structure that's suitable for the flies to lay eggs. You can use BSF larvae and put into poultry diets. By the way, we encourage farmers to harvest larvae and feed them live to their birds, because then they get the maximum benefit of nutrients, proteins, and the crude fat that is in the BSF. If you want to integrate basically into a poultry into poultry feed production, then your own poultry waste becomes a very valuable resource. For example, there are farmers who have cage systems, and they introduce young larvae just below where the ants eat from, because there is a lot of food wasted from the feeding trays or feeding from the feeders. And so as the larvae grows, eating both the waste from the poultry and the mix of wasted feed, they grow very big, and soon they're able to eat most of the waste below the cage. And so after a few days, the farmer is now picking the BSF larvae and putting back into the feeding tray for the animals to eat. So it's a very simple process. We've tried to simplify it as much as possible, because when we started, we had challenges. We started with basins, and we tried crates, and they are quite hard to use. Productivity is very low. What you're seeing in the picture is actually what you would need to start your BSF farm, and that is the space. Our space, rearing space called Shamba 10, is about 1 meter by 0.75 meters. And the small items you're seeing in the picture are actually what you call seed packs. The seed packs is young larvae, 5-day old to 10-day old, which when you get, you introduce on high quality nutrient waste like food waste from your kitchen, or avocado waste, or a mix of, when you're starting, you need to give them a very good start. If you don't, don't grow very well. Just like babies, when they are they're still babies, don't give them githeri. So you can't give them pills or poultry waste and expect them to grow when they're still young. But after the second feeding, I can start to introduce the hard stuff. The poultry waste can be introduced, and they're able to munch it away and convert the nitrogen in the poultry waste into proteins, and then you can use it. So if you want to start, you need the max kit, which is basically a rearing space and seed packs. But critical of all those things, you must have organic waste. That's waste that can rot quickly. And number one for poultry farmer is basically the poultry waste from the coop. Someone will ask, can they eat? Can we use the waste from the deep litter system? Yes, we do. The BSF will choose to eat only the waste the waste of the birds, and leave the wood shavings alone. However, the better thing is that as they're eating, they also break the wood shavings to smaller pieces, which means now if you take out everything after harvesting the BSF, you have very good manure to take to your shamba.
Is your poultry, fish, or pigs business failing due to high feed costs? Get 25 to 35% direct feed cost savings with the BSF Maxi Starter Kit. Get 80 kilograms BSF larvae per month with food scraps. Invest only 5,500 Kenyan shillings for your animals.
Brian.
So for Azolla and Duckweed, if you are asking yourself, how do I start? What we have done is to develop a very simple solution that that's well packaged, and you can get it. Spare some space on your farm, install, which will support you in installation, and you are good to go. In 2 weeks, you get to start harvesting your Azolla or your duckweed. So it's a very simple pond. It's water-based, and it's above the ground. You don't need to excavate. Harvesting and drying of the poultry feed is taking place in the same system, and we recommend that you can use this system for Azolla together with the BSF system. And we understand that sometimes farmers would have a preference on one above the other. However, combining them brings out also very good results. If you can look at the picture there, someone is asking if the Azolla must be dry. It's not a must to have the Azolla dry for feeding, you can feed it fresh and can harvest and feed freshly on your poultry or livestock. So if you can focus on that pond, you can see that it's covered very well on the top and also on the side. If you peep through that door or that window, you can see the Azolla inside that structure. So this is a combination of the requirements for this crop to grow well and all the factors which we have not mentioned because of time constants have been put into this system so that you have a reliable system that you can deploy on your farm and get started. And as Oscar had mentioned, you may have indulged in this using maybe a more simplistic approach. However, if you've done that, you may also agree that you faced some challenges. So all those challenges, all those learnings have been incorporated in this system, and this is the product that Soldier Fly Diverse makes for you if you want to get started in Azolla or Duckweed. Next.
Maybe just to mention a bit about the feeding on when it's still green. Maybe just have to make sure that you maintain also the depth of the water to be about between 23 and 25 centimeters, so that the manure density close to the Azolla is much lower. Otherwise, if it's too close to the bottom of the pond, then you're scooping out the Azolla or duckweed, and up scooping together with the cow dung. Cow dung is good for Azolla, but duckweed you need a more precise manure like the frass or the manure from the BSF production.
Okay. Just before you carry on, McKenna is also inquiring about the greenhouse system. So that actually is not a greenhouse system, what you see there. There are more components in there. And the covering that you see there is majorly for to protect the system from flooding. But Azolla is a shade plant. It does not grow directly on sunlight. So if you leave it open, it will be affected by the sun and you'll lose your seed. You'll not get your Azolla. So those are some of the challenges. Yeah. Okay, we can proceed. We will share the ration on use. Yes. So this US Oscar.
Let's touch some numbers. I would like us to stay a bit longer in this presentation. What you see to the left up to this part is actually the feeding table that we've used with our birds. Sasso, 1 day old to week 4, we use 30 grams per bird per day. And as you go towards week 11 and 12, we use 100 grams per bird per day. So we can actually work out and find that for us, 4.76 kg is ideal for feeding birds that are going to be used for meat. And you'll get your birds between 1.8 and 2.3 kg. Okay, and this is when using commercial feeds. And so we took a case of 100 birds. So this is like a case study. 100 birds. Okay, it means that during the first month you must have 84 kg of feed. It's about 2 bags of feed, and then towards week 11 and 12, we must have 140 kg of feed, because now the birds are bigger, they're eating more, and therefore we need about 3 birds. Now, the max scatter kit, and you're using the best case scenario when you're using on food waste, will give you 80 kg of BSF for the first month. Means 40 kg every 2 weeks. If you're using other substrates like poultry waste plus maybe maize bran or wheat pollen, the value is slightly lower. Will go towards 50, 60 kg. Avocado waste will give you something similar to food waste. So if you're producing 80 kgs of waste, of BSF, okay, from the starter kit, and your food demand is 84 kg, if you substitute with for 2 kg of the BSF you got, then you will have attained 50% substitution in the first month. Now, you had 80 kgs, you used 42, we're going with 38 kg. This 38 kg can be stored in dry form. To dry BSF, you need to kill them by either blanching in hot water or using our Chambertin or a bigger black surface, just pour them on it when the sun is very hot. So what you do, you put the surface out, flat on a flat ground, and let it heat up a bit for about 5 minutes. Then you put the larvae on it, and the next 5 minutes the larvae died, and therefore you transfer them to your normal drying surface of drying maize or beans. You notice that you don't dry maize on black surface because you form a lot of ash. The same thing happens to BSF. You have a lot of ash content in your feed. So now we had 38 kgs remaining. It means that we don't produce any more BSF for that time, okay? And therefore, we can use 28 kg. Ideally, if produced, of course. Therefore, you change your you probably want to give them the dried larvae about a third of that. A third of 28 is about 9 kg of dried larvae, okay? But I'm used to 28 so that it's simpler to go through the whole presentation. Now, if you do that for the second with 5 and 6, you're still doing a 50% savings, okay? And then you're still remaining with 10 kg, okay? But now you produce something, and the next 2 weeks, you get 40 kg because you have 2 weeks only in the second and the third space of 7 to 8 weeks. And if you substitute the 40 kg, okay, you get a 48% substitution, okay? Now, as you continue producing, the weeks are you only have 2 weeks, so you can only produce 40 kg, okay? But notice that you did 48% substitution, okay? And you had some stored BSF remaining, okay? Because you have sorry, there's a small error here, sorry guys, a small error in this calculation here. I have to admit that. But if you have produced again 40 kg and then substitute to the 40 kg to your birds, and then you have got 36%, and then week 11 to 12, or something will happen, so you'll get 40%. I guess when I was doing this, my thinking was that when will you want to sell your birds if you're feeding on BSF? The idea behind giving BSF is not to make the birds to grow very fast. And therefore, between week 9 and 10, you should have got market for your birds. Start speaking about your birds much earlier, because by this time, they're good enough, big enough to go to the market. Very healthy and very, very good feathers on them. Now, I'll switch to Excel a bit, or Google Docs, that we can see how these numbers are working and discuss them a bit more, because I feel like this is what we need to discuss more. Otherwise, if you just go into generalities, you are not able to pin us down and say, okay, guys, you're saying that you can say out 50%. How is this achieved? So this is part of the explanation of how you achieve it. So I'm going back and I'm presenting our calculations. Okay. I'd explain these parts. The 80 kg is what you can produce in the first 4 weeks, and you feed only for 2 kg and attend this substitution. Similarly, for the week 5 to 6, okay. And our target is sell our birds at between week 9 and 10. Now, we must make sure that we have market for our birds, because if you get birds and you don't know how we're taking them, then what happens is that you keep them longer. And remember, past week 12, now the feeding is about 120 grams per bird per day. And therefore, if you want to sell them for meat, they're eating your profit. So you better speak about your birds much earlier, that your market is about to take them up, and you don't have to keep them longer so that they can eat into your profits. Like, feeds are expensive. Now, going back to our calculation, more clear, we're missing some numbers, but then I'm putting something else in our system. After buying the starter kit, then you start buying what you call seed packs. But you don't just buy them; you have to balance them depending on the number of animals you have, and also your target substitution. I'm not saying that you must do 50% substitution to enjoy BSF. If you do 5% substitution, in some cases you get very good results, because BSF helps your animals absorb food better and digest better. So it has some proteins that the animal cannot be able to produce itself, and therefore help the animal grow better. So I'm saying you can start even 5%. You don't have to garner for 50% if you feel like you get strain on you, especially when it comes to finding waste. Now, going back to our calculation, the initial investment for starter kit, I'm going here. I'll be coming this table while explaining this side a bit. So initial investment, right now our unit price is 5,500. Okay, and it's a unit that will help you rear the larvae from the time it is you introduce it pack until you have it without having to remove it from the same space. No changing of equipment. Now it goes for 5,500, and then total is that. And then from this explanation, you need 3 seed packs at week 5 to 6, okay, and then 4, so you need 11 seed packs for you to satisfy the particular percentage, that the maximum percentage that we're looking at here. By the way, you are free also to increase the production of your farm and substitute 50% at this point if you're able to afford more seed packs. However, I don't think it's economical for you to do that. Now, so seed packs are current expenditure to you as a farmer, and our price is 350 shillings. So at the end of the term, we'll have spent 3850 on seed packs. So in the long run, your costs for the first batch is 9,350. Now, if you are feeding the birds without BSF, okay, and the 100 birds, each requiring 4.6 kg of feed, okay, and you're using an average price of a kg of feed as 60 bob, then this is the cost of your feed, okay, to raise the entire batch. Now, if you feed your birds according to this table, you still make profit, okay, and especially if you can sell them at week 12, not go further with them, you make good money. Okay. Now, what about BSF? Okay, our feed consumption will change, because if you sold your birds between week 9 and 10, okay, then you not incur the cost of feeding for week 11 and 12. Okay, and therefore we take the feed for total feed and take away the feed for week 11 and 12, and therefore it comes to 3.6 kgs per bird for the term of 10 weeks. And unit price is the same because you're using commercial feeds, and the price that you want to use, you need to take care of is 20,160. However, this feed, you're not feeding wholly, you're substituting with BSF. And if you look at these numbers, the average of these numbers here, substitution, is coming to 45%. It's actually a formula. It's an average between these numbers. Okay, and if you multiply this number 45.83% with the feed you're supposed to be consuming, then you find that you'll have saved 9,240. Okay, so now the feed consumption costs with BSF will be the difference between the two numbers, 9,000, 10,920. That is 2016 take away 9240. Now the gross savings, okay, will be what we'll have been using .BSF minus, okay, your current cost, okay, which is 10,920. Okay, so gross savings is this value here. However, you've incurred some costs. It is not just that you are making savings without incurring some cost. When you're buying the Max Starter Kit, it came with 4 seed packs, and you bought some other 11 seed packs, and therefore the value you have is 9350 as the cost of the equipment and the seed packs in the first batch. And therefore, if you subtract this value, and you can look at the formula, okay, subtract 10,920, okay, from the total of without BSF, you'll get this as your savings, as gross savings, and the net savings will actually be this gross savings minus the cost of the BSF equipment and the seed packs, starter kit and the seed packs. Okay, so net savings for the first batch is actually 12,390. If you're going to keep birds for the next batch, okay, then you're not going to incur the cost of the starter kit as it is. You only need to add some 4 seed packs, and you will manage the second batch, and therefore your savings will increase to this value. Third batch will be this value, and fourth batch will be this. And by the way, if you have BSF and you're selling your birds at week 10, then you have a chance to raise up to 5 batches of poultry. Some things come into play, like availability of chicks. That's a hit as one. So many times when you want to buy the chicks, you find that they're not available. Sometimes they give you not good quality chicks. But if you, hypothetically, you can actually do 5 batches with your birds, and therefore the annual savings will actually come to 57,850. Now, the biggest assumption you're using here is that the market for 1.75 kg to 2.3 kg birds will be available at week 10. That is when you've fed your birds for 10 weeks. And that's where also the hard work is. Okay, it's for you to get the market. So you don't pick the birds, they are looking very healthy, but there's nobody to pick them. We'll go back to the slides. I would like to invite some questions at this point. If there's no question, I'll move back to the slides. What do you do here? Sorry, just a moment. A bit of IT there, and we'll share this tab. So basically, what I was explaining is what's happening in this table, but now with numbers to back it up. So just repeating, the initial cost of the max kit is 5,500. The seed packs is 3,850. Of course, if you're buying many seed packs at a go, we always give you a discount, and therefore the cost is 9,350 for the master kit and the seed packs for the first batch. Okay, and Max Starter Kit has 2 items called Chamber 10. These are about 1.5 square meter space for rearing the larvae. It comes with 4 seed packs, and then it has dust pans. We call them doodle pans for managing for farming the BSF on the Chamber 10. Because we advise farmers to use weight and instead of liters or gorogoros in measuring feet, we have put in an electronic weighing scale and put in some gloves. These gloves good, especially when using when you're handling food waste for the first time, because many people have already put their saliva on the food, so you want to be safe. So we provide gloves, and then we have training videos. Actually, now 6 short videos will explain to you what you need to do so that you can actually do the BSF farming without us even coming to your farm. The critical thing is that have a space. Don't build new structures. If you have a space of BSF farming with us, and in an existing structure, do not destroy the old houses or structures because they are useful when you want to add a rare chicken or put a new initiative like rearing BSF. I've spoken about this, and in our work in the past 3 years, we've been able to work with these partners, Anglican Development Services, in the Western region from Kimilili up to Siaya, MESPS up to Kisii, Bungoma, and we'll soon be moving to Nakuru. Practical action basically in Kakamega, and with the county of Kakamega through SDSP, we are helping with other partners to have a forum like this one, where we can farmers can get knowledge and information to make poultry farming productive. And I think at this point we've done 1 hour. We'll invite questions.
Yes, anybody with a question?
Okay, Rogers, please ask your question.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for this interactive session that it has really become an eye-opener to us for this area. So my question actually, it goes to in the area of Azolla, that I wanted to know how much Azolla are you able to feed on a day, to especially now the commercial layers. I mean, how are you going to be able to measure in terms of what they're supposed to intake per day? Thank you.
Brian, you can take that, and then I can assist you.
Okay, so we recommend up to 20% substitution with the Azolla. And the reason why you've not seen Azolla in those numbers is because every farm would have different metrics on the size of the Azolla kit that they would want to deploy. So we would do a proposal based on the number of chicken or livestock that you have, or the ones you intend to have, so that we bring in a sizing that would be suitable for your farm. However, for the specific number, Rogers, you can do up to 20% of whatever you are feeding them. Thank you. I think that's home. Oscar, would you want to add something?
Just to reiterate, now we're talking about 20% of wet or dry Azolla. Brian, you can help us there.
It's wet, fresh Azolla.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. And in addition to that, maybe now when you are mixing this Azolla with the commercial feeds, are the layers able to camouflage themselves? Let me use the word camouflage from any other contaminations that comes through, maybe through the cow dung mix, that stuff from the stagnant water. I mean, is it going to be a problem in to the layers? Remembering that layers are very, very, how can I put it? They are very
sensitive.
Yes, sensitive. Yes.
Yeah, so that's actually a very good observation. And for our case, that's why we do a well thought out system. The nutrients that we feed on the Azolla are very crucial because that's where you'll cause your contamination or prevent contamination. And so our recommended nutrient for feeding the Azolla is not actually just taking cow dung and pouring into the Azolla. So that's where the difference comes in. However, if you are doing it kienyeji with the cow dung, then those are the risks that you now face when you are deploying this system on your farm.
Just to
So
add
we do it differently. Okay.
just to add something, even if using cow dung, it's recommended that number one, use cow, not exactly. They say use slurry. Slurry being the output of a digester. But in the best scenario, in the worst case scenario, you'll go to the place where the cow dung has been deposited for a long time and it's bubbling, which means actually it's producing biogas, and the environment is actually quite hostile for microorganisms to grow in. And then what you do is that, of course, you put it in a sack and put it in the pond. However, the only thing that really bothers most animals and human beings are eggs of worms. Those things pass through very tough systems, and so the best thing for you to do is deworm your animal, your chicken as recommended by your veterinary. And like we said, try and make sure that also your Azolla pond is at least 25 to 23 centimeters high, and you're harvesting a clean substrate. However, to be very, very precise, then we need to talk because we have some organic solutions that we use for ponds, and will be helpful. But if you're doing it crudely, then cow dung that has already has been digested into slurry will be the best option. If you don't have an option of getting cow dung, a place where it's deposited a lot, if you take the cow dung, take a mix of 50% cow dung and 50% of water, stir it, and then put it in a jerry can, but leave a small space for air to escape, and put a small hole on the lid, because as soon as gas starts being produced and it's airtight, it will crack your jerry can. And what will happen is that after 40 days, the substance the cow dung will have undergone anaerobic digestion. Of course, anything that's there supposed to breathe oxygen will have been sterilized to some extent. So it's a good way of sterilizing the cow dung against the effects of germs affecting your animals or your poultry. Can one use sack for the same? This is who is asking that. Can one use sacks for the same? Now, please use a jerry can because the sack has holes in it. Only when you're placing the digested slurry into the pond, then you use a sack, so that the release of the nutrients is slower, and the sack holds in the nutrients, and also it filters out all the fine particles into the Azolla pond. Otherwise, you end up making your Azolla pond very dirty with the debris from the cow dung.
I think Ulda has come back and has
Yes,
raised
Holder. Yes, Holder. Please, you're on mute. Unmute and ask.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes,
My
hello.
question is, I would like to know how this soldier fly is made and give to Nene, given to the cuckoos.
By the way, thank you very, very much for the question. By the way, for if you're broilers, they are very okonomaringo. So you need to teach them to eat BSF when they're still young. Otherwise, if they're much older, you need to dry it.
Yeah.
And then grind it and mix it with their feeds. Now,
Yani inasiagwa ikizakauka.
Chakauka inasiagwa.
Okay.
Lakini kama uko na kuku wa nyama tu kama tuseme the
Sasso.
kienyeji breed Sasso, you harvest and give them to give the BSF live to the birds. They love it that way.
I can just give it that way.
Yes.
And
yeah.
How is this soldier is made? This soldier fly is made. I want
Yes.
to make it.
So we have nets, ready-made nets, and also we have what you call fully loaded nets with everything inside. We've tried to standardize everything that when you kupatia na wewe na swali is easy to respond to your question. Tutuambia tractor yangu ni kama haifanyi kazi. We'll ask questions tukwambie what to do or how you're doing it according to what we've given you. And so we have nets. You do not attempt to cut a corner and use a mosquito net. We can watch it 10 times, but the chemicals they use there doesn't go away. Yet the flies are the weakest part of the cycle. Some of them they will die. The mosquito net.
Thank you very much.
How many birds are you keeping, Huda?
Birds.
Birds.
I'm sometimes keeping up to 200.
Okay.
Sometimes pick up to 300.
300. Okay. I will quickly say that if when you try to do so sometimes you are split as farmers. You want to have a complete solution, a complete BSF solution. And so you'll go up and invest in a structure to keep the flies inside and spend some money on it. Okay. And then you have to go somewhere and be trained how to take care of flies. Flies are not like the larvae where you can just get a manual, videos, look at and start raising. The flies, please meet. If you're not close to Kamega, go to a reputable close to you and be taught pole how to take care of flies. Otherwise, it's a very delicate process. Hello?
Where can I get that person to help me?
We are here. Where are you?
Where are you? I'm in Latuanyo North, Homa Bay County.
Homa Bay County.
Latuanyo North.
We will talk to our partner in Homa Bay, but though is a bit inside, is in Sindo. Called Hydro Victoria.
Yeah.
You can assist you to learn about the breeding.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Hulda is ready to get started. Kindly just share your contact so that we will call you after this and walk you through the journey.
Thank you. Got the number. We'll give you a call tomorrow morning.
Thank you very much.
Karibu.
Asante sana.
Yes, Ula, you can now mute. Anybody with another question?
We can get one question as the last question, so that we can if there are no more questions, we can close the session. I think Brian has network issues. He'll be joining. Feedback form. Oh, by the way, we have a feedback form on the chat. You can help us fill it and tell us how the training was. It's good for us to improve. We get a lot of feedback. By the way, we have interacted with about 1,300 farmers, because we visit and work with smallholder farmers, and their feedback is what gives us the information of what to train new farmers on. For example, some of the substitutes we've met for BSF was not an invention. For example, when you talk about maize cob flour being used together with poultry waste, is something we learned from farmers in a place called Lumakanda. Things like when a farmer is very stuck and he has no money for feed, he'll try and take Azolla, BSF, and then just buy wheat bran or maize jam and use them for feed. And what happens actually is that the birds grow, probably they mature just 1 week later. But in terms of savings, they have saved out of feed. We have two farmers who are trying out that and feeding. So most of the knowledge we have is actually from farmers, because we work as extension, and farmers are quite innovative in trying to make their business profitable. So we'll be we'll be grateful for your feedback. Remember that we'll share the link to this training. We'll post it on our YouTube channel so that you're able to access it later. And if you have any questions, we can actually get our numbers there. But our numbers for Kakamega will be 075. If you're writing somewhere, 075 99 88741. And Brian will be giving for Vihiga. We have two farms in Kakamega and Vihiga. So Brian, could you please give the number for Vihiga for those who are close to you?
Vihiga is 0722 573415, and you can call or write a message or WhatsApp, and we'll get back to you.
Walter, you raised your hand.
Oh, okay, yes, Mr. Oscar, someone has just asked me in my inbox, do you conduct trainings apart from these online trainings, and what is the cost if maybe you want to meet a farmer group?
So usually it depends on how far the venue is. Our rate for training here on the farm is actually 500 shillings per person, per farmer. If you're coming to your place, we'll negotiate on how many starter kits you need to purchase, and then a measure of fuel, because you come as a team doing the training. The reason why we insist on at least leaving behind farmers getting starter kits is that when they leave, we leave them practicing. Initially, we used to go to places, the farmers pay for it, but then they don't practice, and for a long time, we didn't have any active farmers. But as soon as they start having starter kits, then others are able to learn from the ones that remain starter kit, and that's how innovation gets spread, because someone is doing it. So we'll negotiate depending on this distance that you are supposed to come, and then decide on how many starter kits and what components will be taking care of fuel. How far is the farmer from say Vihiga?
Let me say someone who is in a farmer group which is in Homa Bay County.
Homa Bay County. For Homa Bay County, if they can take 4 starter kits and give us 3K for fuel, we'll be glad to come.
Yeah, I can see in the chat someone also from Kisii, from Nyamira. Just be open, and we can always discuss what you need to either invest or guarantee a purchase and the cost for the fuel. So don't worry. And you may also consider coming to our farms so that you also have an experience of how it is to farm BSF. So if you are coming to our farm, it would be 500 shillings per head for the training.
What are your hand is raised?
Okay, another question.
Mhm.
This was yesterday. Somebody asked me the cost for the already made BSF. How do you sell it? Like this person, he was in central Kenya.
So for dried BSF, we are selling at 200 shillings a kilo. 200 shillings a kilo for dried BSF.
And you send it
Yes,
as a
we'll
person.
send, of course, it'll take care of transport. We'll send it. So now in central Kenya, it depends where, but he might need to come and pick it from Nairobi, mostly through Easy Coach or the Easy Coach that's close to them, because you have no direct means to other places in central Kenya.
Maybe anybody with another question would like to share with you as well. That we also have a platform where we normally share our daily activities on poultry value chain. And I think from there, we can engage more farmers. Yes, Hulda.
Hello, Hulda.
Hulda?
You are on mute if you are speaking, Hulda.
Hello.
Hello.
One day, I asked about the market problem. Me, I just make I'm a farmer.
Yes.
Na ninakuwa na kuku mingi saa zingine na market inasumbua sana. Sasa zingine roho huchoka kufuga kuku. Sasa hiyo mambo ya market ndio inanisumbua. Mimi in particular inanisumbua sana.
I have some questions for you. Niko na swali kidogo. Swali ni kuku yako unauza iko umri upi? How many weeks old?
Mimi nimekubali kuuza kutoka 1 month mpaka maturity 4 months. So, I'm ready to sell at those times.
So number one,
the
market doesn't know what you have. You don't know if they come to you with a paranga. The market will be confused about what you have. Are you selling chicks? Are you selling mature birds? Nikuja kwako, at one point I want birds. Will I get the mature ones?
If you want, you will get.
So the point is this: sometimes we are doing so many things that the market doesn't know what we are selling. So mtu akiwa in next center aulize nataka kuku, anatumwa kwako
kuku atapata nini? Unajua nini?
Swali ni kwa market ataambiwa waenda kwa Hulda. Atapata kila saa napata kuku.
Utapata ile size utatamani. Utaniambia nataka size gani na ukujie.
Kwa niulize kama nataka kuku wa nyama.
Kuku wa nyama?
Kama niko na hoteli.
Kama kuna hoteli
utauzia na pesa ngapi? Utauza kuku ya kilo ngapi?
Kuku 1.5 kuendelea up to 2.
And how much?
1.5. 1 kilo is 370.
So 740.
1 kg.
Can say your price is not is okay for mtu wa hoteli, lakini swali ni watu hoteli wanajua kuna kuku mpaka wapi?
Hawajajua vizuri, maanake kulikuwa na watu wanachukua tu wanaenda nazo. Sasa watu wametusumbua sana na nini na kulipa. Sasa mimi natamani kupata mtu direct kama mtu wa hoteli hivyo, tushikane mkono na anizike mkono na niendelee na kufuga.
Sasa inabidi utoke nyumbani uende kwa hoteli ongea na wenye hoteli. Shule zinanunua kuku kutoka kwako? Shule ziko karibu na wewe kama gani?
Gogo Secondary School, Alala Secondary School, Oriwo.
Wanunua kuku kutoka kwako? Sababu wajui kuna kuku shule ikifunguliwa, most times zile kuna board governors kuna wanakula kuku. Wakitumia timetable wanakula kuku. Wakati kuna sherehe yote shuleni ya mtihani wanakula kuku. Kwa hivyo mimi kwa shule ambayo karibu kwangu inaitwa Bohaiwa, there's a year they took about 150 birds from me.
Okay.
So watu wa kuku, watu wa nini ndikana wajue. Kanisa, unaenda kanisa gani?
SDA.
Na kuna Catholic hapo?
Catholic iko moja around.
Na watu Catholic wanajua kuna kuku?
Wengine wananijua, wengine hawajui.
Aje, kwa hivyo enda Catholic siku nyingine, wakati wa kuintroduce, ujiintroduce. Sema kuna kuku. Hivyo automatically inafanyika hivyo, sio kitu kubwa sana.
Okay.
Ndio angalia penye wateja wako, ongea na bazaar na counselor na principal wa shule. Wajue kuna kuku.
Okay. Thank you very much. Nitafanya hivyo.
Asante.
Asante sana.
I think, Mr. Oscar, the main challenge is that most of our farmers, when they do have, poultry, they don't have to share until it is late.
Wakulima wote chenye Oscar alikuwa anaeleza ni kwamba soko inaweza kuwa iko karibu na wewe lakini haujajulikana. Unaweza ukaongea na wale ambao wanaweza kuwa wateja, na pia platforms kama hii yenyu kama wakulima, hakikisha umejitangaza pale kwa muda mzuri, na pia tukiwa na any other market linkage, ukisikia kuna mtu anatafuta kuku, utashare na kiongozi wenyu. Walter ndio co-host na mnaweza pia mnaweza pia pata info. Kwa upande wetu tunajaribu sana kusaidia wakulima kwa upande wa gharama ya kumlea huyu kuku, na hapo ukiwa na changamoto yoyote na swali lolote utuulize sisi. Tumeweka namba yetu, tumewapa, na pia kwa mtandao hiyo namba inafanya kazi, website yetu inafanya kazi. Njoo pale tuweze kukupa suluhu ya gharama ya vyakula, lakini tuendelee kusaidiana kama wakulima. Sisi pia ni wakulima na tunaelewa penye hiyo kiatu inafinya, tunapajua. Kwa hivyo tumeshukuru sana kwa kuwa nasi hapa wakati huu, na tunatumai ya kwamba tutaendelea kujadiliana, kufunzana na kufanya pia biashara kwa pamoja. Ukiulizwa, labda kuna mtu rafiki yako mwingine mfugaji anaweza kuuliza, nataka kufuga hawa wadudu wa BSF ama nataka kuweka ama kupanda hii mimea ya Azolla au Duckweed. Sasa unajua kwa kumwelekeza na ataweza kusaidika. So kwangu mimi ni asante tu kubwa, na labda Oscar, kama una jambo unaweza ongezea.
Mimi ni kushukuru Bwana Walter Oswago for his hard work in making sure that farmers are meeting. This meeting was organized by him, and therefore tumtolee shukrani, and we hope that now we've started, we'll be also attending other meetings organized by him and through this group, and we're able to share more with farmers and also learn from poultry farmers from different parts of Kenya on how to better our businesses as poultry farmers. So that's it from me. And I think Sogo has left the meeting. I think we will, at this point, we can close and hope to hear from everyone. Natumai kuwa kila mtu apata fursa ya kuwasiliana sisi na kujadiliana jinsi ya kuboresha ukulima wetu wa kuku tunavyosonga mbele. Karibuni Larvae Diverse Limited. Tumesema tuko na mashamba mawili Kakamega na Vihiga, na tunarahisisha kazi ya kufuga kuku kwa kuboresha jinsi ya kutoa vyakula vya kuku katika mashamba yetu bila kutoka nje. Asanteni sana, mbarikiwe na tuzidi kuongea na kunenezana. Asante sana.
Asante.
Is your poultry, fish, or pigs business failing due to high feed costs? Get 25 to 35% direct feed cost savings with the BSF Maxi Starter Kit. Get 80 kilograms BSF Larvae per month with food scraps. Invest only 5,500 Kenyan shillings for your animals.